And you know, it's not every day that you meet a country drummer from Texas that comes and bails you out of a dilemma that has occurred.
I'm Marvin, and you're listening to the Outlaw Process Podcast. I'm going to be telling a little bit of my story, how I got started in the drums. That just sounds so good.
Coming from Texas.
All the way.
Yes.
Tyler.
Let me see that bad boy, man. Let me see that bad boy.
Yes.
How long have you had that one?
I think 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
You got it?
Wait a minute. I gotta see if it's on. Oh, it's on.
Just want to say welcome to the Outlaw Process Podcast Show. Thank you for joining in. Today we got Marvin Smith, a Texas drummer. He's going to tell his story. Super excited. Hang on. Buckle up. Whatever you may be doing, let it go. Come hang out.
I'm Marvin Smith. I'm from Texas. And I'm a refrigeration technician, and I travel around the country doing startups on air conditioning and stuff. And I've been tinkering around with the drums since I was 10 years old, 53 now. So I love that I have that I've never got rid of and never want to get rid of. It's playing the drums. You don't have to be really good, and I just try hard to be the best I can be. Well, as a kid, my mom took us to church 3 times a week, twice on Sunday, once Wednesday night in a Pentecostal church. And they had the big choirs and everything. And I think I was like 8 years old and just sitting there, I was memorized by the drummer. It just captured, I was just so infatuated with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it started, right there, sitting in church and watching him play and listen to it. And I knew from then on I wanted to be a drummer. My dad was an air conditioning guy, and I used to get my mom's shoe boxes out, my dad's Freon cans and saw blades, and I built my first kit with shoe boxes and Freon cans and saw blades for cymbals. Saw blades are bad on drumsticks, so you know, because they kind of cut when you hit them. So it was started taking lessons at 10, and then about 12 years old, my dad bought me my first drum set, which was a acrylic Ludwig, $600. I wish I still had it today. The original from the 70s.
Ooh, I think we're worth some money right
now. Yeah. So,
oh my gosh.
So it was. That's where it all started, right there in church and listening to gospel music with my mother.
Okay.
And from then it took off into other genres of music that I like today. It's kind of funny. I didn't know what FM radio existed till I was 11 years old. And we're talking 81. I didn't, because everything we rode in and at the house was AM. All our cars were AM, and the radio at the shop was AM. My dad bought a new stereo and gave me his old one, and I took it to my room and hooked it up. I said, "What's this FM button?" And I started playing with the dial. I heard rock and roll for the first time. Country music that wasn't just on one speaker. It was in stereo. So that kind of grew my my love for music too, listening to different genres, not just gospel. I got to hear other stuff, rock and roll and stuff like that.
Do you feel like playing the drums is like, how do you feel like it's affected your life? Like playing the drums, do you think has it helped you get through things, or how important is drum playing?
To me, I think it's real important. You got a bad day or you're going through anything, I can go into my drum room, shut the door, and just lose myself.
Yeah.
Where that's all I'm thinking about is playing my drums.
Yeah.
And it just helps me get to it through the day or through the night or whatever. And it's always in the back of my mind too. I'll be driving down the road and I'm thinking about playing still at my age. Mm-hmm. Been doing it all these years, and it's still a big part of my life. You know, I still spend money on them.
What drummer do you have the most influence? Like what drummer influenced you? She was telling me a little something about that guy yesterday.
Oh, my drum teacher I had in Phoenix when I lived out there. It was Brett Fredrickson. He's not with us anymore, but he was a real big influence on my life. He was Megadeth's first drummer before they got big. He's from Minnesota, and taught me how to read music really good, and took me in as a personal friend, and this really helped me in my drumming career, or drumming, not career, but
Drumming adventure.
Yeah, adventure. To get better and show me things and be real supportive of, you take a mediocre drummer, and he was there just to help,
Yeah.
and taught me a lot of stuff, not just, if I had the time, I'd be a lot better. That's what we have this practice,
How long did you take lessons for?
I took from him, I took 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah. Plus I was working
Like
when
a couple days, like maybe one day a week or something.
one day, 30-minute session, but we were such good friends. I could pop in anytime.
Yeah.
And even when I moved back to Texas, I'd go out to visit my kids, and he'd give me a free lesson. I'd have to spend a night at his house, so I had free reign on all his drums and his knowledge. And so, it's the kind of friend he was to me.
Yeah.
It really helped me be a better drummer. If I can look back now that I'm older and where I was before I met him and where I was after I met him, world of difference.
Do you think like drummers from Texas play different than other people?
I don't think so, because Texas is so big and there's so many genres of music that, we got it all there, personally.
Yeah.
You go down to Austin or Dallas,
Yeah.
We got blues, Texas country, you just name it, it's there. Hard rock, fast metal. You got all kinds of drummers, all kinds of music, all kinds of weird people. It's so big, But the Texas music scene's really big there. I mean, if you don't know what Texas country is,
Texas is huge.
It's
and
not
got its own like deity, just about.
Yeah, we got our own style of music. We got the Texas blues. We got Texas country.
Wow.
Which is a lot better than Nashville country.
Yeah.
It's more of a Southern rock style country.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you had to describe yourself, like what type of drummer you are, could you pin that?
Yeah, I could pin it. I think I'm more of a laid back blues drummer, kind of blues, R&B, like my favorite style of music, and some country. Throw some country in there, some Southern rock, that kind of style.
Yeah.
It's not too heavy, but not too boring.
Hey, what do you think that we can do different as far as like a drumming community? Like a drumming community, do you think drummers kind of are a lot cocky? Do you think they kind of stick to themselves? Do you think that the community in a whole can be better?
I think some of them are cocky, but I've been to like bars and clubs and stuff, and there's some drummers that their nose are in the air, and then you get the other drummer. Like I sat in with that guy there at Green Hall with his band. He was so cool. I told him what I did. I played. He talked to his band leader. They invited me up to sit in with a song with them. I mean, you get that. That's what I like, because we're all here. I hate that phrase because of COVID. We're in it together, but I can't stand it. But we're a community, a drumming community, and I know a lick that you don't know, and you might play better than me, and I want to feed off what you have.
We kind of intertwined.
Right. Yeah, like you can show me something that I haven't heard before, or I can show you something that I've learned, and that vice versa, feed off of each other as drummers. That's how, when I took lessons from Brett, there was 3 of us at one time in a room with him being our teacher, and we're all fed off of each other. This guy might be playing one set of sheet music, and I might be over there on this sheet music, and this guy's playing something else. And you can hear that guy playing. You're like, hey, Brett, what's he playing? So he'd get it. This is what he's playing, and this is so cool. And that guy might be better than me, or this guy might be worse than me. But it didn't matter. We're all drummers.
You got that common denominator.
Yeah, and it all depends on how much time you spend practicing. That's what it all comes down to. And me being older now, and I find I'm actually practicing easier. I find it easier to practice than I did in my 40s and my 30s. I don't know what it is. It's coming to me better.
Like you're getting more in tune with it. Like you've had most of your life you've been learning, but now it's like it's almost like you're blossoming. I feel like it's like that. Yeah, you kind of sometimes you blossom from all the years of practice. Kind of starts coming together at a point, and it starts. You can almost kind of start feeling it, kind of like rupture a little bit, and the expressions you show off for sure.
Yeah. Having the kids out of the house, it helps. They've been gone 5 years now, and it's jobs, even though I'm on the road a lot, but it's less stress. I think that has a lot to do with it, is the stress level of life too. When you're working yourself to death through your 20s and 30s and 40s, and then you get to a spot where I am now, where even though I'm on the road, but I'm not as stressed out with this job, so I feel more at peace.
Right.
With, got my practice pad with me when I'm in the motel room. So I'm trying to work on my chops, and I find it even reading music comes easier for me now than it did early on.
Yeah.
So
just because of it,
I think it's the stress level.
Yeah. Well, you probably kind of, as you get older, you kind of start learning how to let things go a little bit more too, and it gives you a little bit more peace to be able to kind of just tell them how we met, like our story. Like we kind of come in there on the phone, like how long? It was like, man.
I think I'm guessing 6.5 years ago. I was trying to think back.
I found a drum on reverb, didn't you?
Yeah, I found a drum on reverb, and it looked so cool. So I went to Michael's website, and I was reading about you, how you made your drums and all that. And I kept looking at it for a couple of weeks, a month, and there was a phone number down at the bottom. I said, I thought you were like a major production drum company. I didn't know, I'm just so used to Tama and Ludwig and Pearl and Gretsch, these big companies, So I got on the phone, called Michael up, and I said, told him who I was. I said, I'm looking at this one drum online there. So I told him what sound I wanted, what I was looking for. And he said, hey man, I'll sell it to you. And if you don't like it, I'll buy it back. I said, what other drum company does that? So I bought it. I loved it. I recorded in studio with it. I got one song on Spotify that I play on with a guy there in East Texas. But anyway, and then I love that one, so I wound up buying another one from him. Then I think it was like a year and a half after that, I actually got to come down here on my way to Savannah with my wife and meet you. Bought another one.
Yep.
Got a Purple Heart.
Yep.
So then after that one, I wanted one of these Welch tuning drums, and I called Michael up and I said, I want a one-off. This is what I want. I want black walnut. And I said, I want you to scribe with burning it with the wood. And I said, you just take your imagination where you want it to go. I said, I'm sure it'll turn out just like I wanted it. And sure enough, it did. I told him what I wanted, and he just took free rein and made a beautiful, beautiful sounding drum, and it looks great.
That was super fun to make.
So it's been about 6 years that
I remember that ingrained drum, man. I was like, I ain't making another one like this, dude. It tore my bits up around that sucker. It was so hard. It was so hard because it's definitely a one-off. There's not another one like that one for sure.
And that's what I play on that in the studio with. And I ain't selling it. I thought about it, and my wife talked me out of it. Like I got 2 drum sets. I got, I don't know how many cymbals. I got the snares stacked up in the corner in my drum room. But she said, you know what? We're not hurting for money. Just keep it. I'm glad I did. Because that's a one-off.
Really cool.
So.
Really cool. And here we are, man.
Yeah. Luckily, I got a job right down the road from here. So I come passing through and gave Michael a call and told him I wanted to see him. So here I am doing this little podcast. First time ever.
Yeah. Well, I feel like you got an interesting story, man. And, I think it's really cool that you come out here and hang out with me and do a podcast and tell your story. And,
Yeah, we were talking earlier this morning, too, about the sound of drums. I grew up teenager in the 80s. Michael's product of the 90s. The music from even 9 years of apart are so different from what I listen to, what he listens to, and the sound of drums going from the 80s to the 90s and the sizes of the kits and all that. We were talking about that this morning over a cup of coffee. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so we were talking about like when you start messing, different drums are going to sound different no matter what, and being able to adjust them like it needs to is 90% of the game. I think most like you were talking about that too. Like a lot of people are playing the drums, they learn how to play the drums, but never the mechanics of how to make the drum sound good.
Right.
And it's easy not to because you have those wires on the bottom of the drum head too tight, well, your drum is going to be choked out, and it's going to sound like a box that you're hitting. It's not going to have no kind of tone, but having it set properly where you engage the wires and you're not pressing so much pressure onto the drum, you're kind of like taking the sustain away. So it's just like there is a fine line that when you go too far, it goes the other way to start sounding bad, And yeah, we worked on that. What was that drum? That heart pine.
That heart pine I bought from you. That I had it all messed up because I didn't know how to adjust the. I wanted a certain sound and I kept screwing around with it, and I got it so screwed up I had to bring it back to Michael to fix it. The sound wise, the drum is perfect.
How do you think it sounds now?
Oh, I love how it sounded now. It's just great. We played on it yesterday and it just sounded awesome. Yeah. Right. He showed me all the little tricks. I had to do it. So I've been playing, it's like I said, since I was 10, and you don't have a drum teacher that really sits you down or drum tech and says, this is how because your snare drum is like the hardest one, I think, to tune. Yeah. You can jack with your toms and get the sound you want. Like you said, tune it with the guitar. You're playing 80s metal, you want to put a piece of duct tape on them, get that dead sound, But, that snare drum, you got that bottom head, you got the shakers, and then you got your top head. And what sound do you want out of it? What are you looking for? Yeah. And, you can, like you said, you can turn it one way or turn that, get your shakers too tight and it deadens it out like I did.
And too much on the drum shell.
Right.
Having a light, yeah. It's easy to do. It really, because you can crank those throw-offs so tight that it's so much pressure up with it. And not to mention, it weakens the shell too, because that wires is literally a clamp. When you squeeze something together in a point, well, this part comes a little closer, which means the other part's going to bow it. So having that too tight as well makes your drum not round.
Oh.
It's a clamp. It's basically like a ratchet strap, in a sense. You're pulling it tight, and it's like a bridge. It pulls it from the other side. It's not too much of a deal, on like ply drums, but stave drums and segmented drums, when there's not a whole lot of give to it, I feel like it's taking it out on the drum shell, and then it just starts sounding dead.
Right. So, our advice: get some good instruction from a professional. So.
But I know, like, for your playing style too, so you play with a bunch of guys too, though, right? Like, how you got like some band guys that say, "Hey, Mel, what's up, man? You want to jam?" And you like?
Yeah, I got some guys I jam with back home. We do this garage stuff. They come over. I go to their dad's house. We jam out to usually the blues and some rock and a little country. The guy writes his own music, his own songs. So nice. Yeah. We'll go in some of that Chicago style. Blue. Yeah, he's from Chicago. So, yeah. And we do that. Okay. Hopefully be working on some other stuff when I get home. So
I'm excited to hear some of it, man.
I'm gonna try to get my name out there some more. When I get home, start looking around.
Yeah. When you're like a band.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to play like weddings and birthday party, whatever. I don't want like a late night gig. I'm too old for that, where you're getting off work at 3 a.m. from a smoky bar and your lungs are full of smoke. You can't breathe.
People love live music, man.
I know.
There are a lot of people making a full-time living. I mean, you can do that too, especially like people, you just got to adjust your lifestyle to fit it, because sometimes playing out all the time doesn't make a whole lot of money, but it does make money and you're happy while you're doing it. And what are you working for anyhow, So I kind of really weigh in those hard working for? You know, to buy stuff that really doesn't make us happy.
No.
And then we get that, and then it's like, okay, so I feel like trying to fall in love with the process, doing it, and not be so set up on getting to the end, and then now what,
Yeah.
For so long, I thought it was amazing to be able to I worked very hard to be able to build drums full time, so I can quit my other jobs and just do drums full time. When you get it, after a while, you kind of start,
It becomes a job.
it becomes a job.
Your heart ain't in it.
Your heart kind of moves from it. So
Yeah.
keeping things in perspective, I think, is really, very important to me. That's what I'm doing now, is just keeping things in perspective. And, when somebody does see an outlaw drum, it's not going to be something, they're not just mass produced somewhere. They're out there, but, they're not just millions of them,
Right.
If I had to put a couple numbers on some of the drums that we've done, I mean, there's, a couple thousand snare drums out there, a couple thousand snare drums probably.
And in the drum world, that ain't that many.
Not that many.
Right.
Not in the grand scheme of things, but they'll come up somewhere. You might find one somewhere. Drummers get hard up fast, and they'll take one to the pawn shop, and they'll just give it away just about. Then they'll want me to do some work on it, because it's weird. But I'm about legacy, and building really cool crafted drums and one of a kind. It's not really ever been really about quantity. I'm more about quality over quantity.
Yeah.
And then you get when you're building a drum for an individual, it's special because you're getting to see, you're building something custom for him to fit his needs exactly. Not finding something and trying to shift it and make it work, which is what a lot of people do. Not say there's anything wrong with that, but my whole deal is being able to help drummers and help other musicians that are wanting to spread messages and spread hope, messages of hope, and maybe they need some encouragement. Like I was just going to say too, if anybody even knows anybody that wants to, that knows that may need a little extra encouragement, we do giveaways, surprise giveaways. You're like, hey, here you go, through our Patreon channel that we do, and that kind of goes towards giving things. The proceeds goes to more doing other stuff too, and the podcast and everything like that. Just showing everybody support. And it's an amazing drummers are amazing, aren't they, man?
They are.
They are. They got a good community, and they feel like they kind of stick together for the most part. And everybody can kind of learn from each other and pull from this and pull from that, and grab a little this. I saw Benny Grab doing some stuff. No, it was JoJo Mayer. He had his ride turned up, and he was just wailing on that bell. He had it it was where he can just, and he was just, I was like, yeah, I think so. I started doing that, turn my bell where it's just, and just start wailing on that sucker, man. I get lost in playing. Drums is an amazing thing. It's, it's an expression. It is an expression. And a lot of you don't realize it's a meditation too, because if you're really playing the drums, that's a spiritual thing too, because you are concentrated on that particular moment. You're nowhere else. You're there. You're aware. Nothing else matters for that seat, for that time. It passes fast, then life comes back, and here we go. But for the 33 minutes, it's on.
That is right. And you get lost in it, and it helps you spiritually. It really does. I think we all have God-given talents. How else would I be sitting there in church and be drawn to the drums?
Man,
And on my mom's side, my grandpa was a fiddler. He played the fiddle, and all my mom's brothers and sisters are musically inclined. And my dad's side is totally opposite. So I draw from the Hall side of my family. Where that comes from, but I think it's God-given.
It is.
Because there's something in my head, I can listen to a song, and I can hear the beat, I can feel it. It ain't just in my head. It's when I play, it comes from the heart. I don't care how bad it sounds. It comes from my heart.
We were talking about that earlier. God-given gifts. God gives you gifts for different things. Then it's almost kind of like sometimes it gives you gifts here, but then it pulls in other places.
Right.
And I feel like, like one of my hardest things is just like this, the whole spelling and the reading and writing is just like, it kills me. It does kill me. Which, with the AI though coming, bro, I found some things with the AI. It's like, it's not really a problem anymore. It's not a problem anymore. If I can just halfway communicate with this thing to help me out, bam! It's like, yes, proofread this, check this, make that. I mean, it's scary how things are going. It really is, and I don't know if there's opportunities. A lot of people are losing their jobs because of how easy it is to just turn yourself into like something way bigger than what you are fast. Like you can do crazy things with it. But I feel like keeping on the topic with drums, man, it's an expression of who you are, and especially when you get lost in it. Does your wife like to watch you play?
Oh yeah, she likes to watch and hear, listen to me. She never ever complains about me practicing at the house, even if I'm on my acoustic set.
So is the drums in the house?
Yes, I got my stepdaughter's old room is nothing but drums, and so I can go in there. I got 2 sets in there. I got one muffled and one wide open, whichever one I feel like. If I'm practicing sheet music, I get on the muffled one just to work on my sheet music and my chops. If I throw on the headphones and want to jam out some songs, I get on the acoustic set and play as loud as I want. She never complains. She just turns the TV up in the other room so she can hear it, which is great, because if you are married or want to get married, let me tell you, find a wife that really supports what you love to do, because I had one in my early days that didn't support what I did, and we're not married anymore. Thank God. I mean that in a good way. We grew apart and we went our separate ways.
Yeah.
God gave me another woman.
Drums, you gotta get priorities there.
Yeah.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
I remember after I got divorced, I was still in Phoenix and just met this lady. We started hanging out and going to church together and stuff. She thought we were going to get married. She thought. I never proposed to her or nothing. Well, I went down to the drum store and bought me a brand new 15-inch K custom Zildjian cymbal. I said, "Oh, look what I got." And she got all mad at me. She's like, "I thought you were saving that for a wedding." I said, "We're not getting married." And I turned around and walked out of there and never spoke to her since. I said, "I've been down that road before."
You know.
That's right.
There it is. Proof of the pudding. Heck yeah, man.
So I just say this: let God lead you in your personal life. Really, you find the right woman, hopefully.
Yeah.
Or,
it inside if she's the right one. A lot of times we'll lie to ourselves and be like, "Hey, she's not. Hey, she's not." But you know it deep down.
Right.
Some people, you got to get kind of deep with that to really start listening to who you are as a person. A lot of times you have to kind of start realize that you're the consciousness that is aware of the being that is in front of you. You can almost kind of observe yourself sometimes from a subjective point, kind of like subjective observation, and just kind of almost know that you know. And listening to that person inside can really coach you in the right directions, because you go with the way the wind's going. You feel that wind,
right.
and you know the right direction. You know the right answers. You know the right direction. You're not just whoa, 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 whoa. I'd be like, shut up, mind, shut up, but focus on that spiritual voice,
Right.
Yes.
And should I answer it?
Yeah.
It's my wife.
Oh.
Hey, babe.
Hey.
I'm just here talking with Michael.
Oh, are you back over there?
Yeah, we're doing a podcast right now.
He was talking about how good you are.
I was.
Love him playing the drums.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bother you.
No.
I couldn't go back to sleep, so I've come over here.
Where are you staying tonight?
Here?
Oh, cool.
In the woods.
Cool.
Speaking of the spiritual, what we were just talking about, and if you do find the right partner or right woman or whatever, and it'll help you grow in your music, I believe, because she's real supportive,
Yeah.
in whatever I do. I can, I just bought a rack system for $550 and bought all kinds of cymbals, and she don't care. She likes it. So I think that really helps if you're on this musical journey and you do want to get married or dating, or date them first for a while.
You know, because you may flip out and you got to go buy a cymbal.
Yeah, even
Or
though
a snare drum.
yeah, I mean, really,
It's a good test. Like you should get like fix to get married and then go buy a snare drum and be like, see how she reacts. If she's like bucks about it, you know what to do. If she like, oh, I want to support you, let's go to the next level.
well, going back to my first wife, I bought a cheaper Mapex set when I was like 25. You know, it's all I could afford at the time. It was like $500. When I moved back to Phoenix, I got a better job and I started getting some side work where I was putting in units and making $2,000 or $3,000 on a couple of jobs I did. So I bought her a bicycle and the kids bicycles. Well, I went down to the music store. I was taking lessons there anyway, and me and the drum guy there were really good buddies. I handpicked all my sizes I wanted for my new kit and bought it. I think it was $1,800 for the shells back then. This is late 90s.
Yeah.
She hit the roof. You already have a drum set. Why do you need another one? I said, for one thing, it ain't the color I like. It ain't set up the way I like. I wanted a green wooden one. This is what I want. I handpicked my shells, the sizes I want. And, you know, it's like talking to that wall. And it wasn't too much. A year later, we were split up anyway. But
you knew it wasn't going to work then. You started being like,
yeah,
Mark.
always complained about me taking drum lessons. I don't know why your drum lesson's 30 minutes. Why do you have to spend 2 hours over at Brett's house? You know, stuff like that. It can make you discouraged too. Yeah. If you're living with someone like that. Yeah. You know. So we're talking about the journey of life and drumming or music in general. It could go with anything, guitar playing.
It's almost kind of like it's a book bag that you put on and you wear it everywhere. I think people quit playing the drums, but deep down they're still a drummer. They kind of clarify and just make a stand. I'm a drummer. They always kind of migrate towards the drummer and just throw a group of musicians in the room and who you going to migrate towards. You know, that'll tell you you know, if you're going towards one person or another. I'm actually liking playing the bass right now too, so sometimes I kind of get in the guitar. Like I'm fascinated with that stuff, and I think just keeping it glowing, keeping it helping me with be a better drummer, play the bass. I feel like it's kind of, you know, especially when I have a bass player that comes over and wants to jam.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
cool. Marvin.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man, thank you so much for being on the podcast show, man.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Bro, this has been so much fun, man.
Yeah. Anybody out there want a good sounding snare drum? Don't waste your money on those name brands. Get you an Outlaw drums. I got 4 snares, and they're all unique, and they all sound different. So you can build whatever style you want, whatever kind of style of music you play. Give him a call, send him an email or a text, and he'll hook you up.
Man, it's guys like you though, man, that keep the daggone country going, bro. That's a fact.
Yeah, because we ain't lazy. No matter how much sleep we got, right?
Right?
Got 4 hours sleep. Still going.
Yeah, man.
53 years old.
Woo!
See some young punk do that. Yeah. Woo! Is this normally how you get your kit set up, Mark?
Huh?
Is this normally how you set your kit up?
Depends on the kit.
Depends what you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the kit.
I have a hard time getting over there.
It needs to be kind of shifted, like.
You got it?
Wait a minute. I gotta see if it's on. Oh, it's on.
You got it? You ready?
Yeah.
I can eat my food. I mean, I got it. My wife vacuum seals my meals for me, so I don't have to spend money.
Yeah.
And it's better to eat a home cooked meal anyway.
Oh, yeah.
No cream or sugar. I like it like my women.
See you, bro.